All right, we're back for another session. All right, uh, let's implement the fog of war. So, okay, what this means is the map is going to be totally black except for a certain number of squares around the player. Okay, so the player can only see so many squares around. Good boy. Good boy, Sparky. Oh, come here, good boy, good boy. All right, you guys get down before you knock my wire off. Got a big old wire on my headset. All I need is for them to hook a paw and drag the whole thing off my head. All right. Yeah. Anyway, so it only shows a certain number of spaces. I think we're going to default to 2 or 3. Um, so this whole map, everything will be black except for a little radius around there. So that's the idea. Let's do it. All right, we need. So what we need first is another buffer. We have our screen. Right here. So we've got our info. We'll just keep it here too. Some of this is going to change. So what we have is we need a character screen. This will be called Fog of War. Fog of War. Fogo Foire. Equals no. Screen buffer, right to this, and then copy to the console buffer. Okay, we're going to change this comment. Because from now on, this is just going to be the state of the world. State of the world. Okay, and then fog of war screen. Might as well use camel case. You guys, do you have to play right at my feet? Got 2 dogs in a hotel room. Okay, so we've got a fog of war screen. This will actually be copied to the. Now you could also call this like view screen or something like that. Um, in the model view controller uh, part of programming, that would like if we were in .NET or something, we'd probably be doing an MVC pattern for the whole thing, where you'd have a model and you have a view of that model, and you'd have controllers that actually accept the input and all that stuff. Do any kind of logic on stuff. I mean, you don't actually put it in the controller. Those are called, you want a lightweight controller. You don't want heavyweight controllers. But it would do the orchestration between all that. Okay, back on task. Fog of war screen. Okay, so this gets blasted to the console buffer. What we see. Okay. So what this does is all our logic will actually apply to the screen. All that code's already in place. So we're just going to copy. We need a copy of it so we can actually view it. What we're doing here is we're separating now. We're separating a model from a view, or a view from model, a view into the model. Okay, fog of war. Where are we initializing all this? Let's go to screen, 120 by 130, and blah, blah, blah. Screen size equals that. Blobbity, blobbity. Screen equals new screen size. So this, the simplest thing we can do here is say, let's see, fog of war screen. All right, what's going on? So fog of war screen, stupid touchpads, equals. Okay, I don't need your help, Sublime. Screen size, at least not at this moment. So we need screen size. It's actually just an exact copy. That right there. Really, what we're going to do here is just blast that. Well, we don't even have to do that. We're going to run through screen, and any character outside of the fog of war radius is just going to be black. It's going to blend into the background. So we have that. Okay, draw the border, blah, blah, blah. See how we're drawing right here into that, into the screen. So this is part of the initialize screen. Draw border. Where's the draw world? This is drawing to the screen. Initialize world. Okay, so after we do all this, screen is ready. Where is this section? Because we still need the info section too. So where's this at? Initialize screen. We're going to do initialize screen, initialize info section. Well, you know what? This doesn't even matter. Because we're going to add one. Okay, where's initialize world? Where's that at? So none of these have the screen dependency. Initialize world. This is where it actually just draws border and world. So we definitely need to make our copy after this. So once we initialize the world, we need to initialize fog of war. So do we need, where can we do that at? Tile at, draw border, initialize screen. Actually, the console, the console doesn't have any, this should be in its own initialization. This here, the console. And this here. because that doesn't have any dependency on any of this other stuff. So that bytes written to buffer, that actually, I don't care about that one either, but this actually goes with this here. So initialize console, copy that. Twig, lay down. Let's see this right here. Okay, at this point, make sure we didn't break anything. Okay. Okay, it looks like everything's still intact. Okay, so we do that. Now we need to copy our screen buffer into our whatchamacallit, fog of war buffer. Okay, where are you? What do we do? Drummer. Okay, blah blah blobbity blobbity. Initialize screen, initialize console. Okay, we need to initialize fog of war screen. Screen equals new screen size. That's inside the screen. So let's go ahead and do it here. War screen. Yeah, we'll call it screen. I don't really love that name, but don't have a better one at the moment. Okay, so we need what, a character pointer, what, screen to copy maybe. I guess I could have put source. Oh well. Okay, so we get a copy of that. We do this. This is part of our screen, so let's go ahead and call it. I don't like embedding this. In another function because it tends to hide everything. Forward screen, we're going to pass in the screen. Okay, there. Because sometimes you want to look for stuff like this, and it's not clear that it's inside the screen. You would have to know about that convention. Um, if you're in software long enough, you'll learn something about uh, convention over configuration, or the reverse. Configuration means you got some file somewhere and it has all your options and things like that in it. Where convention would just be it works in this way, so learn how it works, and now you know. Instead of looking for a file, you just have to learn how the system works. um, so yeah, you can argue either side really. So for now, we're going to leave it there. So initialize FOW screen. So, okay, so inside here, all we're doing is making a copy of this. And it only has to happen at initialization. One thing though, when we restart, is that going to be done? It is not. So we're going to have to move that. Instead of the screen, we're going to do it in initialize world. And actually, we're going to do, let's do initialize fog of war down here. Because this has to be, let's see this real quick. We don't initialize screen, but we do redraw the world. So initialize world, what does that actually do? See what it does. So it draws the border and the world. Okay, that's where we need to do it. So let's just do it inside. So once we do the random walker, we need to just copy it here. Let's just copy here. We've created the world. Now let's go ahead and make it another function here inside here. So let's take it out of the screen thing. Where was I at anyway? Okay, initialize fog of war screen. Okay. So instead of calling it here, we're going to do it down here. Where's it at? Inside the initialize world thing. So we'll call that initialize screen. You know what? Let's do this. Take that out. I don't like embedding stuff like that. So let's put it down here. Where's it at? Initialize world. Okay. Where I initially was going to put it. So this time, when we, because really initializing it just means copy the screen. Okay, where are we at now? Blah, blah, blah. So after we initialize the world, it's going to go do that. I don't like empty spaces in my code like that. All right, let's do this. Where's it at? Right here. So basically, this is just a copy. Remember, our screen is now the true source of state for our world, and now the fog of war screen is our view into that world. Okie doke. Let's continue. Okay, so I have, oh my gosh, what is the name of it now? Oh, okay. So let's see, blah bitty blah blah. Now, we did write that right. The problem here is I was about to look for a zero termination, but we don't do that until we actually write to the thing, which we need to move that to. When we initialize the screen, when we actually draw, when we initialize the screen, we need to actually put the, well, let me see here. Right here. See how we're setting it right here? That's the terminating screen string for it. Which this is going to be changed. We're going to actually draw a fog of war screen on that. So we're not going to need that one. Okay, let's do this one step at a time. Let's go back up here. So let's just do our copy. And we don't have to copy the info part of it. That's going to remain the same down there because that'll be written onto the fog of war screen. I think. Where's that written out? Yeah, right at the very end. Which is fine. That's fine. We'll have to change it out. And we may end up just passing it in, changing these functions, since we're dealing with two buffers. Remember, grow complexity. Don't throw it in all at once. Okay, so let's just copy this. This is probably pretty dang close to what we need. There. Well, I think the buffer to copy pretty well explains what this is doing, so we don't need a comment. Don't comment the obvious. Okay, so we got this. We are going to use that. Oh. But we actually want everything. We need a complete copy of this. I wonder if there's a well, no. Never mind. Script reminds me, blah blah. Let's set everything back to 0 here. Blah blah. Change that to fog of war screen. Okay, so y times screen width plus x is good. Equals instead of wall. It's actually going to be floor for now. Right now the floor is just black, like the console screen in the background. If that ever changed, if we needed, I don't know, a different character for the floor or something, we might change that. But we might not have to. I don't know. Okay, equals that. So that should be a copy of it right now. Or not this. We need to do an if. So we need another variable called player site. Player site. And we're gonna probably put it at 3, maybe 2. We'll play around with it. Okay, where are you at? Initialize player. Here we go. Player 0. Player site radius equals. Let's do 2 for now. Okay, so now we only want to copy over the tiles that are within that view. If, let's see, good grief. Why? Okay, there's a lot of boundaries here. Well, first of all, let's do the border. So if, let's have a function called isBorderTile. Oh, you know what? We already got that getTile. Now it'll come in handy. Let's see. Current equals getTile at. What are we getting at? XY, right? XY. Let's see. We could do a switch. Current. Can you switch on a character? Sure you can. Let's do a case. Let's do, so if it's border, case border, let's do, so if it's a border, we need to copy it over. So let's do that. There. It's there, but it equals border. One thing is the border will always be shown. That's why we're doing this. Border has to be shown. So we got that done. Yay. Let's do this. Break that. Case what? Really anything else? So okay, after this, we only care if it's a border at that point for this. The default, otherwise we need a default here. And this is going to be okay, now we need to test if it's within the radius. So if, let's do this. Temp y equals, let's see, py. Well, we got to have up. We got to have our directions. So we need our new directions here. So let's say up equals py minus player site radius down equals py radius. Oops. X. And sometime in the game, maybe they light a torch or something, and the player site radius increases. Stuff like that. Or maybe there's a spell that reveals the whole thing or something like that. Or they actually find a map. PX plus player. Okay, so we got all our temp values, variables. Now we need to test. So okay, let's do if up is greater than 0, because 0 is the border. Then what? Just write it? Write the tile? Because it's got to go up to that point. How are we going to do that? It's got to be a radius around it. So it's got to be all the squares around it, really. Around the player. So that means there's 3 on top, 2 on the side, another 2. And so there's going to be actually a little rectangle around the square that he's at. I might keep it at that rectangle. So let's do that. Let's not worry about the border at the moment. Let's just do this. Let's just do a straight copy of it. And then we'll automate it later. So let's do a radius of 1 right now. And then we'll do this in a little bit. Let's just get it working at this point. Let's do that, and then so fog of war screen. Let's do this here. Well, we still need that one part. Hold on a minute. We still got to check the border though. Got to have that. So if, whoops, up is greater than 0. Sorry, so that'll be 2. Oh, you know what? Oh yeah. I think I know how to do this. Here. So let's just do a while. Up is greater than 0. Oh well. Fog of war. Okay, let's do the right. Copy that. But we don't need that. Equals whatever's at the screen at that location. Okay. So we're going up player site radius. Minus minus. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing for each direction. Try that, copy that. Except this one will be down. Actually, let's do right. If right is less than, screen width, minus 1. Or actually, it's supposed to be 2, isn't it? I think. Whatever. We will find out, that's for sure. Okay, right, so we're going to subtract that one too. While right is less than screen width. Okay. Why screen width? Plus X. Okay, it's the same calculation. All right, let's do down. Copy that. And that's going to be less than, whoops, what'd I do? Looks like I changed my little cursor. I did, and that is not good. Oh, what is that? Insert there. There we go. Do not want that. Okay, while down is less than screen height. Minus 2. Okay. Then fog of war screen blah 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 equals blah blah. And then down be minus minus. And then left. Copy that. Left. space, left. Okay, so we got that, so that should light up whatever's there. Oh, wait. This is supposed to be up, not Y. Because we just copied that into there. Up times that plus, okay, up. Dang it. Come on, laptop. Okay. Okay, so this one would actually be P, or this would all be up. No, it won't. No, it won't. No, it won't. Only the individual ones would be, because we're actually drawing up there. So this is true, that needs to be right. Um, that's right. Down instead of Y. Down there. I don't know why I have these compacted like that. Okay. I don't know how it does that. It's so crazy. All right. Why is it doing that? What am I doing? Okay. I think that's good. Okay, so we got that. Now that we wrote that, we need to blast that. W screen. Okay. So now when we draw, well, not on this, because this needs to draw to the screen. When we blast it, should be right here. Okay, change this. Yeah, we do have to have the info lines going there. So let's do that. Right, info to screen. Right here. Let's put that at fog of war. Okay. And then right, info to screen. Okay, we got that done. Screen there. screen, set console title. What is that one doing? Oh, that's on the actual console. And then here we'll change that to fog of war. Screen width times that, that's the same. Alright. Alright, who wants to place your bets on whether the first run works or not? Okay, let's check it out. My beer is getting warm. Okay, why do I have that? What was Windows? Quit messing up. Get tile at 60. Let's go up here. All right, where am I at? Oh, you know what? It's because I don't have all the little prototypes. Get tile at 60. Yeah, 60 and 63. Case expression not constant. I hate that about this. So I'm going to change that over to an F. Okay, what am I doing? Get tile at. Where's that located? It's probably lower in the thing, isn't it? Let's see. Tile at line 60. Yeah, it's way down there. So let's just do this. Copy that. Put it up here. There, we don't need these. Okay. And then we need to take care of that case statement. Yeah. Case statement. So let's go to 65. 5 here. Border. Okay. So we could change this to an if. Let's just do that. Switch off here. So let's see if border. Get rid of the default. All right, where am I at? I lost track of it. Oh, there it is. What's that? Okay, what do we need here? We don't need these, right? I don't think. We got the 4, 4, okay. Got this. Okay. All right, everybody cross your fingers. Huh. Well, it's definitely not good. Looks like we overwrote memory. Probably some buffer overflow. So let's take a look at it. And let me see. Make sure the size is the same. Oh, wait, you know what? Did we add? Yeah, we did do that. So that's an exact copy. Oh, yeah. Screen size here. Let me see this real quick. Okay, screen size plus info lines. Okay. So we did do it all. Okay. Okay, why was I doing the -1 again? For the border? We don't need that now because we're actually checking for the border. X, Y. So if we start off at 1 and -2, so it's a -1. So that should skip. Oh, that's right. I forgot. We should just write a. No, it skips that. Now it drops it down to 0. Skips it again, drops it down to -1, and it skips the whole thing. So we don't draw up. Now drawing right, right would be, because we're starting off at 1. Oh, wait. Right, px plus 1. So 1 plus 2, 3. It's less than that, so we should be drawing that. Forward screen, y. Wait, why are we doing y? This is in reference to the, should be in reference to these, not to that. We shouldn't even be using xy. We should be using player xy. Because that's the only thing we're drawing. We don't really care about anything else. Well, no, we do. That's what we're not doing. We're actually not even drawing. Well, we've already copied the screen into the FOW buffer, didn't we? No, we only made it the same size. So now we're copying this y0. So yeah, we're not even copying it, actually. Because these need to be using the PXs up here. Because this is totally off. We're starting at 0, 0. But if we're checking right, we still need to be going off of, well, no, we don't. We need the current Y. We need the current player Y on these. That's what that needs to be. So the same on this here. up. Up is the Y we're checking. We want to check. So screen width plus, it should be px. Well, no, it ain't. We don't care about that. We're going off. Well, yeah, we do. Oh, this gets confusing. Yeah, because the whole point of this is to draw the radius and blank everything else out. So the first tile, we get it. It will be a border. It'll be an asterisk. We'll write that into fog of war screen. X, Y, which is, yeah, okay. Wait. We're going off X, Y, not player position. This is just the copy in here. So really, once we have the border, we need another function called FOW radius. So let's do that. Uh, Fog of war radius. So on this, we just need to start at 0, 0, go across the screen, blah, blah, blah. And that's it. We don't care about anything else. Yeah, I'm trying to do the actual fog of war radius, and I shouldn't be doing that. That needs to be in the actual radius screen. So let's move that up. Whoa. All right, here we go. So that's that. Where am I at now? Right there. Okay, so that's actually going to be up here. We are not concerned with that right now. Okay. Okay, now at this point, this is it. So all we want is the actual copy screen here, which is this. Which we're not actually even going to have to do that now, since we're copying every single tile in there. Well, okay, let me think. Hmm. I think my original thinking was we don't have to copy everything over because we're just going to overwrite. So what's the point? I mean, we could blast it over real quick. But then up here, we're going to be hiding stuff. Draw the radius. I say, hmm, I say draw everything as a floor tile. except the border. So I would say do this right here. So when we initialize this, oh shoot, Control Shift Tab there. So when we do this, when we're initializing, the border's already there, and then we only have to worry about wherever the player's at. Because when we initialize this, if it's a border, we draw it. If not, it's just a floor tile. Which means we don't care about get tile at. We can speed this up really just by doing if y equals 0. Dang it. Or y equals screen height. Oh, come on. -1. Or 0. Screen width -1. Then do that. So we don't need this. Otherwise, for anything else, it is a floor tile. Basically a black screen. So that initializes that to either floor tile or a fog of war or a border. So having said that, if we change our tile to be something else, we should be able to see something on the screen. Let's do that. So instead of a blank, let's do a let's just do a dash. And let's see here. Make sure I called that. Okay. Which really I didn't even need the screen buffer on that. Because the border is in these coordinates. So we don't even need the buffer here. We don't even care about that. So I'll take that out. Back down here. Now we will need it when we draw the fog of war radius. This one here, we don't need that anymore. And we're not calling this yet. We're not going to do that yet. Let's see where we're at. Okay, X undeclares 68, so that's inside here. Okay, for now, let's comment this. Whoa. Okay, so our buffering scheme is working. Now, we don't have the player because the player is being drawn on the, whatchamacallit. Of course, it all looks the same when we do that. So we are drawing that. So let's draw the player on there. Where are we drawing the player at anyway? Drawing it on the screen somewhere. Player, blah, blah, player site race, okay. Okay, update player position. Yeah, right here. So this needs to stay there. Because remember, that's the state. Well, let's think about that. Yeah, it has to, because that's the state of the... Do we need to draw to that screen? Because we can continue checking. Because remember, the fog of war screen is exactly, well, no, it's not. We're going to pull from the screen. So yeah, let's continue drawing from the screen, but we need to pull in the character. That way we don't have to change any of this. What is this? Is that where my cursor is? So this is correct. It's doing that, and we're blasting that in. Now we need to do radius, which will include drawing the player. So the first thing we do is draw the player inside of our FOW buffer. So if we say fog of war, what's it going to be? PY times screen width plus PX equals player. Okay. So where are we going to put draw FOW radius at? So that's going to be, let's take a look at our game cycle. Right screen buffer, update player position. So it should be, we initialize our screen here, so it should probably be after the update. Draw FOW radius. Okay, why is my cursor way down there? I think I'm accidentally hitting the little pad thingy here. Okay, that. So if we draw it at that point, okay, where are we at? Okay, then let's see if our player shows up at that point. So we save, we go here, that, there. Okay, so now we got our player. So we've got trails again, but okay. Okay, guys, come on. Okay, baby, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Ow. Twig, your nails are sharp. All right, come here, Spark. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. All right, you guys lay down. Okay, so I think we're actually running into like walls. See, like I can't go right now. Can't go down. Left. So I can't go down, yeah. So you can actually see the shape of the right wall here. Okay. So see how the logic is actually working against the screen buffer, which contains the original state. So that's actually good. But I'll bet you our erasing trails isn't using the floor. It's probably, I don't know, it might be hard coded in there. Let me see what's going on here. Let's do that. Oh, we need to see. Restart. Okay, so restart works too. So, all right, we got that. So let's. When we update our player position, is that where we're taking the trails off? Yeah. No. Okay, it's not draw world. Let's do. Where are you? Okay, player position. This is where we're working with our old py and px equals floor. So that means it's being done somewhere else. Oh yeah, well it's doing it to screen, but we're never applying it back to Fog of War screen. So we do need to keep this because that's done there, but now we could just mirror it in there. Let's do a quick and dirty fix here and just do a, let's just mirror this code over to the Fog of War buffer. And we can refactor this at another time. So Fog of War screen, py blah 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 plus a equals floor. Update player position. Does not equal the wall. We're going to draw the floor tile. Okay. Let's do it here too. here. We'll probably end up blasting the all this stuff back into Fog of War. That would be the correct way of doing this stuff. Well, enterprisey kind of way to separate concerns and all that. Okay, what do we got? Fog of War. Okay, so once we do that, then we're rewriting the player, which we're already doing that. Up here, we've got that part working. So let's see what we got on this. The cavern's there. So we do that. Okay, so that's working there. So the only thing we need now, we need to illuminate this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to call this one. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay, can we get it working real quick? Let's see, where are we at? All this in here. We've got our player. So wherever our player is here, we've got that. Fog of War screen up, blah, blah, does that. So we have up combined with player position, because on this, we're actually going to player position. Let's uncomment this and see what's happening. Do that. This is purely viewing. So let's try that. Oh, I forgot we don't have the XY. Okay, so here's where it changes. We don't need to copy everything else. All we need is that radius. So we're not going to use any of the XY stuff here. We need, it should be the same actually, the same formula. So that should be P, PY, because we're going off the player here. That should be PX. The hotel staff are cleaning rooms and my dog is going crazy. So, good boy, Sparky. Good boy. Love you. Alright, let's do this one. Back over here. No. There's something wrong. Yeah, we definitely got some kind of buffer overflow thing going on. Whoops. Wrong screen. So let's take a look here. Okay, so we draw our player. That works correctly. You know what? Let's go ahead and get one of these working. And that's it. Since we start off at 1, 1, let's get the right working. Right or down. Either one of those would work. So let's just do right. Let's do that one. Okay. This here should be plus plus. That's one of the reasons. With up, we want to be greater than 0. So we actually want to do a plus plus on this. Or we want to be minus our y. So we're casting up. If you think about casting, throwing a rock in that direction. Right, we would be going right. And then down, we should be adding to that. While down is less than, oh, yeah, crap. I see what it is now. And left to be minus minus. I don't know why this is here. This is that copy and paste stuff here. If you're on left, it should be greater than 0 on that. Greater than 0. And then we're going to subtract. We're throwing to the left. So we're going to minus minus. Okay, when we're going down, we're throwing that rock downwards, which increases our y. So as long as it's less than that, it's actually 2. Because see, it should be less than that and greater than 0. Down should be greater than 0. Remember, we're only going to do this player site radius times. You know what? There might be a different way of doing this. Because the up would work because we're only going as far up as 0. But if we're like in the middle of the screen and we go up, you're going to be casting all the way up. It's just going to keep going until it hits that border. So let's do a temp variable on this. Well, we only do the player radius once, so we can actually, this is a no-no. You can use player site radius and then change that value until it gets down to 0. It's really bad practice. So yeah, we're not going to do that. Let's just do a count equals player site radius. Actually, let's call it something else. Let's call it max. Max tiles to move. Max tiles for max radius. I don't know. I think it's more descriptive if you just use this. Let's just do it. Okay. So let's do this so it short circuits. While player site radius is greater than 0 and that. So screen width minus 2. So it's going to go up here. Well, this is going to the right. And then we're going to subtract player radius. Okay, the only problem with this is each of these is going to use the same variable, so let's not do that. Let's just use this. count right, minus minus. Let's put that up here. Count right. Site radius. Okay, so as long as count right is greater than 0 and right is less than square width minus 2, then we're going to show that tile. Okay, so let's check that out. And that'll be it. Let's go here. There. So it's definitely not showing it. Oh, wow, there it goes. All right, cool. All right, so let's try to do the other ones. Oh, look, we see it already, don't we? Cool. All right, let's do that one. Count right. So let's see if we can do up. And up is greater than 0. See if that one works. Okay, that was not right. Yeah, up definitely doesn't work. Yeah, it's way off. So what do we do? Oh, I never decremented it. There we go. Try that. Is that yeah, it is showing up in it. Okay. So let's do the other ones too. Sparky. Okay, baby. Thank you. Oh, see if down works. Here, come over here, baby. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay, so this. Oh, it didn't show the diagonals. It's not showing the diagonals. I didn't code that in. Okay, so this, it's not showing downward here. It's showing way out, but it's not showing, yeah. You got to be 2 away, so it's not counting it down, actually. It's going 2 out, but it's not showing the 1 out. We need to show the 1 out, too. Oh, no wonder. This needs to be counting down. Because we're starting off max. So if we, they should all be counting down. Because down, we're maxing it at 2. 2 pixels down, so we need to decrement that. And the same with up. See, we minus 2. Well, no, with that one we are well, minus 2. That one should be. Is right, but plus is going that way. No, that's right. This one is minus. Okay, let me try that. Okay, so I see the second one down is showing. Okay, now it is showing twice there. Okay. Okay. So that appears to be working there. Up is not though, see that? Oh, no, I guess it is. Can't go up, can't go right, so. Okay, that is definitely not working. Okay, there it is. See, on this one, I can't go right, even though it's a dash right there. I can't go right. So it missed it. When I was right here, when it looked up, I need to include diagonals. So when I look up, it should actually be over there too. So we're going to add diagonals here on next session. I'm going to, because this is how it's going to be. So most of this is working. But anyway, so let's do this last one. And then we'll come back and fix those corners on the next session. So we've got while left there. We also need count left. It's minus, so while zero and left is greater than zero. That should take care of that one. That there. Okay, left is there, but left is okay, it's the same problem. Yeah, see, I can't go left right there, even though there's two right there. But if I come back up, it shows it. And that's actually going three up. So that's wrong. So there are some little tweaks we need to make. See, like right now I can't go up. So I have to go back down to actually get that. Yeah, see. It's only doing it at 2. Oh, well. This needs to be reversed. Because remember, we're starting out maxed and then coming back. So we need to start at 2, and then it needs to go to 1, so forth and so on. Okay, there we go. So left is picking them up now. Now up is picking them up 3 ahead. That's definitely wrong. See? But we have the gist of this. Let's take a look at up again. Up is greater than 0. That's true. So we start up at 2. Oh, we should be adding, not subtracting. Well, no, we start off at 2. And then it would be 1 above up. No, that was right. It should be up. It should be like that. So if we're on 1, oh no, it's not. So PY, if I'm on 1 and we subtract 2, we're at -1. So then we subtract, oh, we're going even further up. So if we're at -1, we subtract 1, we get to 0. Then we subtract 1, we get to 1. So that looks right. Okay, I think we're going to work on this again next time. So this is got a lot of progress there, but I drank a beer and I've got to go to the bathroom. And these dogs are going crazy. All right, guys, that's where we're at this point. That, sort of that, run it, and that is going to be our fog of war. So we don't know where we can go. We'll just have to explore and all that. All right. That is it for this one. Thanks for coming along, hanging in there. Leave some comments. Tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Yeah, I'll see you on the next one.